Yo, what's up YouTube? It's Required Fields here, and it's time for me to do another one of my What's Been Spinning videos. Just a selection of some of the albums that have been spinning as of late. I'm going to start off this video with Suffocation. This is their newest album, Of the Dark Light, which was released a few months ago. They delivered it again. Suffocation is one of the best death metal bands of all time, I think. While this doesn't topple Pierce from Within as their best album to date, I still think this is a good album. And Clarity for Deprivation, the opening track, is probably the best track here, along with the re-recording of Epitaph the Credulous. Now, Suffocation's 1993 album, Breeding the Spawn, is generally an album that's somewhat divided in their catalog due to a lot of people not liking the production on it. So they've re-recorded just about every song from that album. There's only two that have been re-recorded. Epitaph the Credulous is one of the most underrated Suffocation songs ever done, in my opinion. So it was this album they re-recorded it. They've re-recorded all but two songs from that album on later albums since then, or they'd be bonus tracks or bonus tracks or re-recordings on their on some later albums. And their debut EP, Human Waste, was also re-recorded. All but the title track has been re-recorded for later Suffocation albums. Yes, it's another good album in the Suffocation catalog, and that's one of the albums I've been spinning lately. And this is the self-titled EP from Glacier, a one-and-done band from the 1980s. The album was put back in print last year. It's traditional heavy metal from the mid-1980s, and the best tracks from it are Vendetta and Speak No Evil. The latter being the closing track from the EP, and it's melodic, traditional heavy metal. A few different vocalists actually on the album, as opposed to the same vocalist in every track, but the musicians, otherwise, the same guitarist, bassist, the drummer on every track. But he used a few different vocalists on the EP. But it was a pretty good EP. They only did demos otherwise, but it would have been cool if we got a full length from them. But the EP is a good one. And next we have, this is a band called Hellwitch, and this is their album, Syzygial Miscreancy, and it's 7 tracks long, but it's not even a half hour yet. It's considered to be a full length album. And one of those 7 tracks is actually just an intro for another track. Hellwitch plays technical thrash metal with a bit of a death metal twist. It's been compared to groups like Sadus, and but either way, it is a very short album, and it feels more like an EP than a proper full-length album, even though it's considered a full length. And I mean, for example, Eternal Nightmare by Violence is equally as many tracks and is not that much longer, yet it's always been considered to be a full length. And this is a good EP though, or a good full length album though. It's good either way, despite its short length. And then we have Jag Panzer. This is Ample Destruction. This is a very acclaimed cult American power metal album it was released in 1984, and the group actually never got to release a proper full length for a number of years after this. But this album has always been a cult favorite in the underground traditional and power metal scenes, and it's a great album. And I actually didn't get to actually own an official copy of it till this year. I remember almost, but I was going to say though, although I've been familiar with it for a very long time and been familiar with Jag Panzer for years, I just never got around to buying Ample Destruction till recently, because it was out of print for quite some time. But I finally managed to score myself a copy of it. so many great songs on it. It's kind of hard to pick for me to pick one individual favorite off of it. And then we have another album I've been spinning here is Hopeless Hopes by Martyr. Martyr is a progressive technical death metal band from Quebec, and they released 3 studio albums before dissolving. Hopeless Hopes in 1997, Warp Zone in 2000, and then Feeding the Abscess in 2006. And this is their debut, Hopeless Hopes. And of the 3 albums, this is my favorite of theirs. My favorite tracks on it would be Hopeless Hopes, the opener and title track, and the 6th track on it, The Blind's Reflection, is another one of my favorite tracks off of it. And anyways, that's just those are just some of the albums that I've been spinning lately. I plan on doing another video of what's been spinning very soon in the near future, and probably I'll have at least one other one up by the end of the month for sure. And anyways, this is Required Field signing off, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and goodbye.